Hey guys, Big Daddy Liberty coming to you from a very sunny Cape Town, just outside Bellville, meeting with the Move 1 Million people. You've probably heard these guys. They do a lot of work on social media, and yeah, this is their way of getting some South Africans together and protesting some of the things that are happening in this country, I think, that have a lot of people concerned. So I'm here, I'm going to speak to some of the organizers, speak to some of the folks who have come here. What are the issues that they are worried about when it comes to the future and really the present of this country? You're watching the BDL Show. Welcome to it. Remember, if you want to support the work that I do, you can quite easily and quite simply throw as little as $1 a month towards the show. You can do that either via Patreon. I'll have the link in the descriptor, or via PayPal. Just keep an eye on the link in the descriptor. It allows me to basically be out here, to travel around and to bring you this content. So welcome to it. This is the Big Daddy Liberty Show, special edition, as we talk to the Move 1 Million people about what today is about. More interesting things that I'm really keen on, you know, beyond just these sort of gatherings, is getting these sort of messages and capturing that hurtful mentality into communities that are equally as hurtful, but don't know how to express that, and don't know that there are people on the other side, right, who have the exact same concerns as they do. So I'll be very interested to, and you'll probably see me weaving in and out, you know, talking to people. But we do exactly the same thing in our townships, in rural parts of the country, you know, because I do think South Africans have been separated by politicians, and it really is time now that we actually get together and we see each other as humans and realize that actually we have the same problems. You know, me and my community that are burning tires and burning libraries are expressing the same anger that you'll find in quote-unquote white suburbia in South Africa. The issue is we just don't talk to each other, and that's what allows the politicians to get away with the nonsense. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to have that conversation, to share that with people here, and then bring those visuals into those communities so that people can see each other.
I'm so happy to be here because I had to be at work, so I just phoned the boss now. I said to him, listen, it's time. Can I go?
Just give me a few moments.
Is everything done? I said to him, everything is done. He said, go.
Plucked a few more people who are here at the Move 1 Million protests. It's like a little mini protest out here in just on the outskirts of Bellville, really. And I've been asking people the whole day two distinct questions. Why are they here? Why is this important to them? And what sort of South Africa they want to see?
I want to see change in my future one day, and for the future of, like, for my kids. So I'm here for change. That's why I'm here.
26 years ago, I made my first mark, you know, for democratic South Africa. And for these couple of years, I mean 26 years, come on man, the country has just been going downhill. And I've got 3 kids, you know. This one he's been studying food technology and is at home for the past 2 years because he can't get a job. So my worry is the future out there. What's going to happen? Everybody finishes school, they can't get into a varsity, but there's no jobs. Or they study and there's no jobs available.
My biggest worry is me trying to save my own job. Because I've been during the lockdown, we've been trying to feed as many people as we could using our own money, because we're not an NGO. But now I'm on the verge of losing my job, and I have to be here because too many people have lost out on their jobs during this lockdown. And I think the COVID-19 isn't even the pandemic. The pandemic is the corruption that's going on in South Africa.
Absolutely.
I'm done with that.
Absolutely.
We are a group of like-minded South Africans. We are not, there's no cultural divide here. We're here for one sole purpose. We see a problem, we want it moved.
Absolutely.
And that's what we fought for in the past. There was a government regime that we didn't agree with.
That's right.
And it had to be overthrown, and we did it. And we were triumphant. But it seems like through the years, that ambience, that noise of victory has fallen flat to corruption.
Absolutely.
It's the same problems with a different government.
That's right.
And I feel it should be handled the same way.
I was just riding by and I happened to see, South Africans standing up, having a voice. And I'm one person who believes in freedom of speech.
Absolutely.
People should have freedoms to express themselves and to say what they believe is important to them. So I didn't know what the protest was about. Although online I'd seen you and I'd seen people talk about Move 1 Million. And when I came back from my errand, I came back and I stopped by and I thought, you know what, people are standing for something that I value, something that I stand for as well, which is freedom, which is good values, good principles, a good South Africa standing together, everybody being one.
It's important to me to back all these movements that want an equal free for all South Africa.
Absolutely.
No? Yes, I want everybody to have equal chances for jobs and health services and everything.
Just very briefly, I'm not part officially of the Move 1 Million group, but I think a lot of what you're echoing are things that they are trying to echo too, and rally people together, to be honest. But let me maybe touch you on the heart and ask you maybe a different question. Tell me about the South Africa you want. I don't know if you're a parent and maybe it has that personal element to it, but what South Africa would you like to see us develop?
If I could use one word, I'd say a beautiful South Africa. There's 2 words, well, 3 words, a beautiful South Africa. But, I want a South Africa where everybody who's South African belongs.
Absolutely.
Ons het 'n beautiful, 'n baie mooi country. 'n baie mooi country wat ons het. En ons moet lief wees. We have to live in love and peace in South Africa. We have to unite. All South Africans have to unite.
Not belong just because you own a passport, not belong just because you own a home, but belong because of a sense of community. Because you love everybody's around you and everybody's around you loves you as well and accepts you. With all our differences, with all our similarities, we're all part of the same humanity. And there's no reason for us to be grouped into camps and you are this, I'm this and I'm that. We're all human, we're all South Africans, and so the South Africa that I want is the South Africa that I would be proud to have my children grow up in, okay? Where they'd say that we left them a legacy, an inheritance of love, an inheritance of togetherness, an inheritance that we can actually give them while we are still alive.
It was important for me because I love my country.
Absolutely.
And I do not like corruption in our country. The corruption must stop. The government is corrupt.
Absolutely.
And it must stop now.
I often talk on the show a lot about the values that I stand for, which is faith, flag, family and freedom. And I often argue that if we can rally people around those values, then you can build something solid that everybody can benefit and call home. Your thoughts on that and of course the South Africa you want?
Faith, it's a huge word for me, with being at the Hillsong Church, we speak about it a lot, and building a community, it's just so sad that we had to live this day and have to fight in this way, but I believe. It's going to happen. The huge change is going to come.
I think a lot of people echo that sentiment that actually, my life matters, my livelihood matters. If I'm unable to provide for family, then my quality of life diminishes. And I think that's the story, sadly, for most South Africans. Our quality of lives have gone down in a country that had so much hope initially. So let me speak to that, right? And maybe ask the final question. What would you like to see as your ideal South Africa? What do you want to see?
I would want something that's close to utopia as possible, because that's all everyone at the end of the day. It's just everything from security to safety to everything. So that's what I want to see.
The crime work, the crime in South Africa is bad.
Dit is 'n oorlog in ons gemeenskap.
Dit is war. En dit's nie meer net oorlog soos bang bang nie, dit is psychological oorlog.
Stem heeltemal saam.
Alles is hier bo in jou mind dat hulle met jou speel. En dit is nie reg nie.
The South Africa that I have in my mind is South Africa that we all had a couple of years back. Think of, say, 95, 96. We were proud. We got together, we fought for one purpose, one goal, and it was to better everyone and to see everyone better and to give everyone a voice and have it heard. that's what we want now.
Absolutely, totally with you. My day-to-day, my bread and butter, I literally do the work on the ground in communities, and I tell people that actually it's very possible to build a non-racial, property-earning, prosperous, and really free society. It's very possible, but it needs us to actually get up and do the work. Again, I think your sentiments are echoed here and in the thousands of people who are going to likely watch this. Johan, thank you very much. Let me allow you to get back to it.
You need to keep doing this work. It means a lot to many people.
Thank you, thank you so much. Jarette, welcome to the Big Daddy Liberty Show. You are at the helm of the Move 1 Million initiative. And I think a lot of people aren't quite sure what it is. You know, they sort of see it on social media, but no real understanding in real terms. What are you guys trying to achieve? What is this all about?
Sure. So I think our first port of call is really trying to get people to unite. And I think we're living in a fractured society. The past regime, this regime, have done a fantastic job of keeping people divided. I think that division has helped our country to absolutely fall to pieces, So our first port of call is really saying South Africa, it's time for us to unite, come together and stand together against the issues that we have. And it's difficult for us to sort of pinpoint it because there's so many things that are wrong in South Africa. Our state has failed. If you're looking at farm murders, or if you're looking at corruption, or if you're looking at child rapes, whatever the case may be, there's just so many things that are basically attributing to the fact that we're living in this country, and it's almost like our ruling party has completely lost control. So I think the main driver for us now in taking this thing forward is on our side, the Move 1 Million side, is to push against corruption and hold accountability. We need to see politicians being held accountable, and we need transparency. There's no level of transparency, so we really need to see what's going on the inside. And the other thing that's very key in our view is direct elections, and the fact that we need to start looking at how we start to elect our leadership directly. So that's our main driver. That's sort of what we're pushing forward with now.
There might be a lot of naysayers who say, hey, hang on, aren't you guys the I'm Staying group? Like, what's the difference between that and this? Is this just a morphing of I'm Staying into this? What's all of that about?
Look at I'm Staying answered a call at the time when we were in our country. We also had a lot of racial tension. We had a lot of division. Our economy wasn't in a good space. But again, the whole thing was about bringing South Africa together. Social cohesion was so key for us because there's a lot of us's and thems. And I got so tired of that dialogue, So how do we bring our country together? How do we start looking through the other side of somebody else's life? Start understanding where people's challenges are, how they live, and what we really feel about each other. And I think that's what I'm Staying did, and it was a fantastic step forward for South Africa. But we are in a different time right now, and the time that we're in right now calls for different measures. And I think so. This was essentially like a more aggressive stance of I'm Staying. We still work on the same principles in terms of unity and driving forward, but now it's about accountability. It's about taking action.
You're touching on a lot of issues that South Africans might be worried about in the here and now, but the most obvious question then becomes, is this just another social media campaign? You and I had that chat when we first met, and I said I'm really allergic to just social media campaigns because you want people to actually start doing the groundwork. Is there a component of the groundwork in what you're doing?
Absolutely. It all goes back to groundwork. So I think the grassroots mending, I think whatever comes from this as a result of this, and this is what I keep pushing forward. We can no longer rely on governments to fix our problems for us. South Africans need to stand up and be accountable. It's time for us to start saying, right, how do we start to fix the systemic problems that we have in our country, be it education, be it social cohesion, be it healthcare. It doesn't matter. All of these things are contributing factors to why we're in the state that we're in. And no South African now can put their hand up and say, but what are you doing? No, what are you doing as a South African? What am I doing? It's our responsibility to sort out grassroots issues, and then maybe we can do that in conjunction with our governments, but we can no longer let a few dictate what happens to us.
It's been a concern of mine, and it's one which I'll put to you, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Again, when we met the first time, I made it quite clear that on my side, I don't, just out of principle from my side, I don't fraternize with politicians. I don't want them to get involved in the BDL mission, for example. I see you are bringing in some political voices. What are your thoughts on that? Do you see a role for some politicians to get involved in this? And what's your outlook on that?
Sure. I'm prepared to talk to anybody as a South African that's prepared to help South Africa. We're not going to align ourselves with any specific political party, because the moment we do that, we're going to alienate our membership. We've got members that are on the EFF, the ANC, the DA, DA, the Freedom Front Plus. We don't want to do that. Our position is saying, God, how do we get the country together? And I think any sort of political alignment is going to deter us from doing that. But it's not going to stop you from talking to people if their interests are aligned by interests. And I think that's the road we're walking on at the moment. It's a tricky road because politicians are politicians. Everyone's selling snake oil. But certainly you're not going to see us aligning ourselves or putting up another political party to our left or to our right. That's never going to happen,
It's critically important for those who are fed up with the party politics. But how do you protect your movement, if you will, from that political influence? What safeguards do you have? Do you have any?
No, I mean I don't have any. I mean, to be quite frank with you, I don't know where it's going to go. Remember, we've been doing this for a month, and there's a lot of learning to do. And I think from our side, I'm trying to follow my heart and follow my guidance systems on this one. And I don't know where exactly it's going to take me, but I'm always seeking advice. I'm always seeking counsel from people that I really like and trust, people that I've known for the longest time. And I'm going to do the best that I can. And that's all I can do.
I hear you. And I had to ask that question because again, for a lot of people, that's the concern. And you said it yourself. People don't want to be associated with something which they perceive as being party political or manipulated by party politics, or whatever the case may be. But I must ask you then on where this is going. What's the vision for Jarette as an individual, and of course for Move 1 Million? What are you trying to achieve?
Once we can drill down into the direct election system, because I think that's where the key is for us, right? Parties really become irrelevant. Any party can sit at the back there, it doesn't matter, because each individual that represents that party is elected by the public, and we get to push forward with that. So I think my mission now is to continue to rally South Africa, to continue to inspire and give people hope, and to continue to make people accountable for themselves. If you want a better South Africa, then stand on your feet. Stop pointing fingers, stop shouting on social media. If you want to make a change, do what these people are doing and get on your feet.
All right, guys, you heard it. Straight from the horse's mouth himself, and of course from the people who came out here to have a chat. Lots of vested interest groupings to a large extent, but again, the commonality of South Africans just wanting to be heard, to say, hey, we're actually tired of the way in which we're being governed, the corruption, the crime, as some of the families here mentioned. I do think, though, there is a need for a cohesiveness around the values to which people are being organized in these things, because I'm not getting that, and that can be a bit of a tricky issue, but it's important to hash it out. And it's also why I asked some of the questions I did to Jarette, of his ability to protect the cohesiveness of the message so it isn't co-opted by other vested interest groupings. So I think it's an ongoing concern of mine, but it's something I think it's, as you said, listening to people, making him aware of it is very important. So kudos to him for that. I might, and I think I should, have him on a live stream so that a lot of you guys can pose some questions to him. So that'll come at some stage. Guys, let me wrap up. Say thank you very much. If you want to support the show, if you want to support me as I do the groundwork, I don't really do a lot of these types of events. It's mostly in communities around the country where I'm doing my work. But if you want to support that, remember you can support by donating as little as $1 a month. One single dollar, 17 Rand a month towards your favorite fat boy and street fighter for classically liberal ideas. So you can do that via Patreon, of course. The descriptor will have that link, or on PayPal by using my PayPal email address, which is bigdaddylibertyza@gmail.com. Do not send messages to that email address. It's just for PayPal. If you want to get in touch with the show and get in touch with me, you can do that by sending me an email to bdl@bigdaddylibertyshow.com. That's bdl@bigdaddylibertyshow.com, and I will have a number very soon that you can use to get in touch with me. Remember, guys, super appreciate you guys for liking and sharing the show. Please do that. And with that being said, I will see you on the next one on the show. And remember, never trust a commie.